I'm Sid, and these are my best friends. My mom, Kim, my dad, Ty, my sister, Maddie, and our salty dog, Stella. We started our adventure refitting a Lagoon 450 before taking on the massive project of resurrecting a sunken 2021 Leopard 50. It's been one heck of a ride, but we're on this adventure to die with memories, not dreams, and live dauntless.
We've spent the last several weeks preparing for arguably the biggest change to our floating home, from cutting out walls to the team effort to get the washer and dryer on board. The 3D printer came in clutch to fabricate custom foot mounting blocks. And of course, the epic heavy lifting to get the appliances in their places. With the appliances finally in place and a few more cuts, we're ready for the final steps. We're now in the home stretch for this transition in the port-forward cabin to a proper workshop and laundry room. But things don't always go to plan.
All right, so I got a bit of a problem here. I was going to cut this threshold off, and I wanted the flooring in this room here to just extend into from here right into here, and I'll have it at one consistent level. The problem I've got is I measured it over here underneath the freezer, and this was lower than this. So I thought, oh, well, it's not by a whole bunch, but I can just overlap a thin material right here at the edge. That's not the case. If you look, as it tapers up to create the slope so everything runs towards where the drain used to be, I've got, gosh guys, almost 3/8 of an inch on this side and about 1/8 of an inch right here. So I'm going to talk to Kim and see if she's okay with just a little bitty transition. Something in that 1/2 inch range, if that's going to be a tripping hazard. I hope not. Speak of the devil.
I heard my name.
Yes. So come down here. Come into my office. Have a seat.
Okay.
What do you think?
I guess the short answer is I want to do it however it's going to transition seamlessly into looking like it was meant to be and not an afterthought.
All right. It's settled. I'm going to template the upper section of the floor, and then we'll laminate some plywood and make a floor.
Obviously, this floor piece is a very odd shape, so the best thing for us to do is to template it the same way you'd see countertops templated, using 1/8 inch plywood and a glue gun, and voila. Okay, to get ready for the next step for finishing off this laundry room and freezer area, we are going to be putting in a wall panel that is going to block this side of the freezer from the remaining part of the laundry room, which means that we are essentially closing in this previously shower space. So I need to remove this piece of acrylic and all of these brackets that the acrylic is attached to. Let's see if I can do this without dropping any parts like I did last week with the handrails.
You all right?
Yep. I don't know what that was. I think I'll be okay. It'll be good. And just like that, now we have a piece of acrylic that maybe we'll repurpose for something else. I don't know. We'll see. They're out. My job is done.
All right, so I've got the floor joists, if you will, cut to their tapers and what have you. I'm going to show you what that looks like. This is going to keep this floor the same level or at level with this floor here. And not level, but parallel, because it's going to go up just ever so slightly. So I am going to bed this down with Sika, or actually Boss Stick is what I'm going to use. And I'm going to basically just put a bedding compound. I've cut everything just ever so slightly short to make up for the distance in the bedding compound. And I'll set all those in, push everything down. All right, so I've got those caulked in. it's set up, and now I've added another layer of caulking on top, and I'm slowly going to bed this down. The reason I'm doing this instead of screwing everything in is that I want all of the wood to be isolated from any of the fiberglass that's around it. That's super important so that if you get any shifting or moving in the boat, you're not going to hear any squeaking with the plywood rubbing against other plywood or rubbing against gel coat. I'm leaving just about an 1/8 of an inch gap all the way around so that I can take the gray caulking that matches all the trim in the boat, and I'll be able to caulk around there to finish it out to make it look like it's factory. All right, it's door jam and header and trim day. And the first thing I'm gonna do is the cutout that I made for the freezer right here. I've decided to level that off. So if you see up here, I've drawn this little black line right here, and I'm gonna cut that off so there's a header that goes even all the way across the top. Then once that's done, then we can get out and start breaking down the beechwood and squaring them up and making trim parts that'll nest over top of this 3/4 inch material. All right, so we have all the big boards ripped down into strips like this in different lengths, and we are now taking the measurements off of the door jambs and trim, and I am cutting down and replicating those profiles so that we can put the new door jambs in so we can put everything back together again. We will of course have to paint everything, but we are going to cut everything, then trial fit everything in the boat. Then once we're happy with the way everything fits, everything's sanded, smooth, and all that, then we'll go paint it. All right, guys, I am so excited to share this with you. The boat came with all the door jambs and all that stuff that was painted. Anything that was hardwood in the boat was beechwood, is what the factory told me. So I bought some 8/4, which is 2-inch thick by random width, anywhere between 10 and 12 inches wide boards. And I bought these big, giant, thick boards because I have to make moldings. Now, most of the moldings are hollow because they fit around plywood or what have you. So I'm making C's and T's and all kinds of things like that. But after 2 days of breaking all this stuff down, planing it, milling it, sanding it, blah, 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 I finally have the mock-up of everything that I'm about to paint, and I want to show you what it looks like. Here we go. This is a header. This is going to be where the new wall comes in over here. We've got trim out around, and you can see there's light for ventilation. There'll be some air movement in there, and then I've got a trim down on this side. Also, down here, this is the new threshold that will be painted and have a stainless steel cap on it. But that is, as they say, that. So, it's all mocked up. I am going to now go over to the shed, get out the painter or the sprayer, and I'm going to spray all of these down and put a couple coats of paint on them, and then come back and install them and get ready to do the plywood. We're so close. So close.
He's making a lot of noise. All right, we don't have a paint booth to use right now, so we've come into the corner of the shed in the boat, in the boatyard. We've got our pieces set up, and we are going to paint. Seriously, we are going. Stop for just a second.
No.
We are going to paint this trim so that we can get it installed, hopefully today. All right, new paint gun. It was a necessary evil. Here we go. Stop running into things.
Oh, it's the first wall piece. Oh, it's heavy.
It's too big.
That's what she said.
too big. You're hitting the wires coming out of the light hole in the top. What?
Well, I think
No
that fits about
way.
perfect, Kim.
Pretty darn good. Okay, so you can't see it on the other side at the moment, but we chose to do the wall laminate on this side because it opens up into the laundry space. That way it looks like
It matches the rest of
wall.
the cabinets, yeah.
And then the other side we laminated with
White.
white.
To say, well, I'll show you.
I'm gonna
It's a
come on
gloss.
this side. Okay.
It's a gloss just like the ceiling and the wall and the bath walls.
Yep.
So it is a white. And there's a protective film on everything I'll take off later, but currently that is the way it is.
Rock on. And then this is actually going to be covered by the trim board. Sorry. Casing. We could call it casing.
You call it whatever you want, baby. Don't call me late for dinner.
So I don't want you to talk about what you're going to do, but there's a kind of a gap back there. Which,
Get out of here.
fear not, folks. The gloves and whatnot that are back there will not stay back there. We
Or the
will
shower
remove
head.
them before we close in the wall.
Speak for yourself.
Yeah, that was a royal we. Ty will remove them.
Ty's not doing shit. Kim is removing them.
No, Kim's
Ty's
got it.
plugging the plumbing, so Kim can take all of that stuff out.
Kim has other things to do. Yeah.
Before you even get close to getting ready, just
But I was
push
trying
start.
to adjust my hand, and I didn't want to drop my phone, and don't yell at me.
Funny shit always happens before you push. You ready?
I'm ready.
All right, so we weren't happy, were we? The latex paint looked fine, and it would look good at camera, but it had kind of this rough texture to it. And we chose semi-gloss, and I could have sanded a little bit better, but it just still wasn't giving us the finish that we wanted.
No.
And the finish was what,
It was a semi-gloss, but the finish that's actually in the boat was way glossier than that.
it was like smooth and a hard surface, like an enamel.
And I just didn't feel like it was going to be quite as durable as we want it to be. Not that we plan on beating the boat up or anything like that, but it is door jambs and corner trim and things like that. So I want to make sure that it's as durable as possible. And I think the best way to do that is with more of an enamel type of a paint. So
And
this,
I didn't like it when you touched it. It just felt like it looked good, but as soon as you touched it, it kind of felt rough.
it was, yeah, rough. That's a good
And yeah, so we sanded. I sanded
tie sanded.
everything down to raw wood again, and then I primed everything. And then now we're gonna go back with this. What is this stuff? It is a urethane trim, which apparently is
Paint.
well, not apparently,
Urethane trim paint.
paint. Yeah, it is still water based, but it acts like an enamel. Acts like an enamel, like an oil.
Right.
So hopefully we'll get a nice smooth surface. It is 4 hours between coats, and it is currently 7 o'clock. So we're gonna spray this, and then I'm gonna come back in here tonight
At 11.
and 11 o'clock and respray.
Because we want to get 2 coats on it. Hopefully that will be enough. And then it can sit overnight. And then tomorrow morning we'll be able to
put it back in the boat.
install it.
Yeah. So we have this little paint booth. We don't have this little. There's a paint booth here at the yard, and with the payment of a case of beer first, guys, the owner of the booth allowed us to come in and use it overnight to be able to paint the trim. So Kim will show you what it looks like.
Yeah, just a simple little booth. It's not fancy. All right, 4 hours, starting now.
4 hours later.
First of all, what time is it?
It's 11:09. All right. Yeah, that looks good. But I can feel it, it's still sticky.
That's not good.
Yeah. It's loading up the paper. So it just needs to sit. So let it sit overnight, and we'll take a look at it in the morning and we'll try again. 5-minute boat project.
That's not funny.
It's not horrible. We have a paint booth.
Yeah.
Good night, Trim. Another day on the 5-minute boat project. So I forgot to bring a camera and show you me shooting this, but I just finished the second coat of, and hopefully the last coat, of the gloss urethane, and there's a little bit of orange peel to it, but I think that's gonna level out as it flows out and cures or dries. Let me show you what it looks like. All right, I'm back, and I don't know about you guys, but I think that's gonna look pretty good for some painted trim. What do you think? All right, so I have put the freezer in place, put these panels in, and I'm gonna show you how I decided to secure the freezer in place. So it's really kind of fits in the opening just barely, and we can pop the trim off to make it easy to get the freezer in and out, but I wanted to make sure that it didn't like rock around or move. The theory is the freezer is now leveled, it slides in, and this is going to get screwed down to here. So this is glued to this, which is screwed to this, which is going to get screwed to here to keep the freezer from moving. I think it's going to work, but I'm gently going to screw it in place, and I'm not going to touch it for 24 hours. So I don't pull it off the back of the freezer before it cures. That's the plan. Putting this thing in behind me.
Okay, so this is
what took Ty a day and a quarter to build. This is our cubbies for sunscreen, bug spray, whatever else, and our trash cubby right here. Pretty fancy, huh? All right. It's a snug fit in there, isn't it?
all right. So you're going to adhere this with the Bostik.
Correct, and I'm putting little dollops of super glue on just to tack and hold it in place because they're long, thin pieces. I don't want to get any warpage or...
Well, and the super glue will set before the Bostik will.
Yeah, super glue will set in 10 or 15 seconds. And the Bostik can cure overnight or in the next few hours. Okay.
So the super glue purpose is really just to hold it in place while the Bostik...
It's a temporary clamp.
Temporary clamp.
That's all that it is.
That is quite the pose you have there.
Yeah. It's Tai Chi.
I love the toe curl around the edge. Like that.
That's the double clamp.
The double clamp.
That's the signature Thai double toe clamp.
Wrap around.
Monkey feet.
Are you laughing at me?
Kinda.
I don't want to let it go, because if I let it go too soon, then I got to do it all over again.
Oh. All right, so the door jamb is actually going to get screwed in, but for alignment, you've got it clamped.
Correct. And it's tacked up there with super glue, but it'll get caulking on the outside, but it's actually just a screwed in thing. So I'm just tacking it in place to hold it, really to help stabilize this inside trim piece. All right, guys, I got a rapid fire collection of Ty's pro tips that I've learned in the construction trade, but really became apparent, and there's some unique challenges on the boat. So we all use or want to use stainless steel hardware, right? And the cool thing about stainless hardware is that it's super corrosion resistant. However, it's very brittle, and things like blown out or stripped out screw heads are absolutely a common thing. So always buy extra, because you're going to strip them out. Number two, because they strip out so easily, you want to take a drill bit that matches the shank size of the screw. So the way you look at that is you put the drill bit in front of the screw and you hold it up to the light, and you just want to see all the teeth of the screw overhanging, but you want the drill bit to cover the shaft of the screw. Now, even doing all of that by having extra and pre-drilling all of your holes, the next thing you want to do is, a lot of boat hardware is thinner than the depth of the head. So if you put the screw head in and you still see part of the cone sticking out the bottom, well, you want to use a countersink bit to do this right here and countersink the hole. So that way, even though it's behind the hardware, there's a place for the bottom of the head to go. And number four, and this is going to be kind of weird, or five, or however many this has been, somebody's keeping track, is lube. So what ends up happening is that even though That's what she said. Even though you drill it the hole to match the size, this creates friction. Friction creates heat, and heat makes the wood swell and grab a hold of the screw. And then what ends up happening is you get almost all the way in, and then it just strips the head out. And then wah, wah, it breaks the head off. There's all kinds of bad things that happen from there. So you can use beeswax or chapstick. Can't find my chapstick, but Maddie gave all of us for Christmas some bag balm, and this is just a little bit of, I don't know, petroleum base or what have you, and you just need a little bit on the screw shaft. And then when you run the screw in, it lubricates as it goes in and keeps it from creating extra friction, which nobody likes, and allowing the screw head to seat nice and tightly. So
get your mind out of the gutter, man.
So you can bury the head all the way into the plate.
Oh my God.
What is that? What is going on here? Just like that. No friction, no stripping the screws. And all you got to do
is lube the shaft.
Is pre-drill and use lube. Put the screw in.
Okay.
We're just going to let it go.
Enough. Just get the door mounted. I mean, installed.
Go away.
All right, guys, it is time for the big reveal of probably, arguably, the biggest change on the boat, since, of course, resurrecting her from the deep, but the most impactful for day-to-day living on a cruising catamaran. We start in the utility room. This used to be a bedroom. I'm sitting where a bed was, and now we have inboard cabinetry, we've got outboard workspace, and 20 drawers full of tools and all the things that you need to quick grab and do any project in your home. The next big change that we did is this thing we've been working on for weeks, and it is the laundry room space. And it's by far my favorite space on the boat, and it's probably because I do the bulk of the laundry. But it's far beyond that. It goes into making a space that is actually livable and functional and not just an afterthought. We wanted to take what the factory does in an already cool utility space with laundry and make it epic. When you come down the stairs, we wanted the view to look like built-in cabinetry, not just an afterthought something stuck in the shower space. So closing in the freezer wall and building the extra cubbies for some of the miscellaneous storage with the trash compartment was huge for this space. But really the winner here is the washer and the dryer. Having a proper space to be able to do your laundry is huge. I don't have to lug things in the dinghy to shore and wait hours for my laundry to get done. I can be here on the boat, swimming out off of the platform, doing whatever, and laundry can be happening right here at home, and I don't have to pay to go anywhere to do it. All of this can run off of our battery bank and off of sunshine. Low energy, very water efficient, all of the things that you want to have on a boat, and I get a washer and a dryer. And what's freaking fabulous about this dryer is that it is 110, just like the washing machine is, and it is ventless, which means that I don't have to cut another hole in my boat in order to have a vent going out. And it's a heat pump, not a condensate dryer, which means my clothes will actually get dry. All of the key features that are missing in most washer dryer combos on a boat. So this room has intention, purpose, and it looks fucking amazing. So if you like this room as much as I do, leave me a comment in the comments section down below. If you haven't yet, make sure you subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so you're notified every time we post a new video. A big special thanks goes out to all of our patrons. Without you, a lot of this wouldn't be possible. So to you, we say thank you. Guys, until next week, keep rolling, keep doing your projects, and make sure that you're dying with memories and not just dreams.